RBT family, what's the deal? It's your dog Willie Jack, and we are back, baby, back with more NFL talk. How's everybody doing? How you feeling? Hope your Christmas holiday went well. Hope your New Year's went well. Welcome to 2026, and welcome to the regular season finale for 2025, Week 18. We have made it. We have made it, man. We are here, the very last week of regular season football for 2025. Feels a little surreal. Can't lie. It's been a grind for your dog, man. It's definitely been a grind for your dog, but at the same time, now that we're here, this is it. Like I said, man, today is what we got. Yeah, today's what we got. There's no Monday night game today. So yeah, today is what we got, man. This is it. This is all she wrote. This is the grand finale. This is the final crescendo, okay, of the 2025 season. And so I'm excited. I'm fired up. There's a lot still on the line for me, right? There's a lot still on the line for your dog. As you can see, you know what I mean? I came war ready today. You feel me? Yeah. Big TJ. Y'all know what's going on. Come on now. Y'all know what's going on. We got a lot on the line today, man. And so we'll definitely get to that game for sure. And then also recap a lot of the other action that's going on today. Now, as we know, Week 18s in general can be a little hit or miss because by this point in the year, at this point in the season, a lot of teams may already have their divisions locked up or their playoff seating and spots may already be secured. Excuse me. And so everyone doesn't necessarily have a lot to play for in Week 18, but my team does. And so I'm fired up, ready to go to see that. And then, of course, as well as some others as well, man. I think for the most part, all the playoff spots are secure in each conference except one. So the Steelers-Ravens game today will decide the final playoff seed for the AFC. The winner of that game winning the AFC North Division, of course, and then securing that fourth seed and a likely home game against the Texans in the wild card, I believe, is how it's going to fall for either team, whoever wins today. And then in the NFC, it's a little dicier, right? So yesterday, in a game we're going to talk about here shortly, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers end up going to Carolina and leaving there with a victory. And so both those teams are now 8-9, and they're essentially tied for that division title. NFC South is what we're talking about. But both of those teams, neither of those teams will know who's going to win division and who's going to the playoffs until the conclusion of today's Falcons versus Saints game. And then if the Falcons win that game, I think Tampa Bay then does secure the NFC South title. They're going to win that division at 8-9. Or if the Falcons lose today, then the Panthers, same scenario, they'll win the NFC South and secure that playoff spot also at 8-9. And then now that I think about it as well, I mean, it's not the first time we've seen like a sub 500 team win a division and even host a playoff game. Most famous, is this the first one since the Seahawks? I'm trying to think if we had that if we've had it again any more recently than that epic Seattle Seahawks run. Man, I can't even tell you the year, man. I know it was a little while ago. But of course, that game itself made famous by Beastquake, the first Beastquake. So Marshawn Lynch rumbles for like a 60 or 70 yard touchdown run. He broke probably like 8 tackles on that run. And then, of course, this is if Marshawn goes into the hall, man, that's going to be the highlight of his highlight, right? That play, that run right there. And honestly, that play, that run, that game really was the spark of what turned into I don't know if we can call it that Seahawks team a full-fledged dynasty because they only did win the one, right? But it definitely was the spark that kind of birthed or brought us into that Legion of Boom and that Seahawks, that run that they had, man, which was definitely pretty special, even though they only had the one Super Bowl win. But that was the Seattle Seahawks. We only had 16 games then, so I think they were 7-9, and they were hosting the Saints. And the Saints that year, I want to say the Saints were an 11, maybe even a 12-win team, I want to say. And so it was already, even at that time, it was crazy, right? Because a lot of people were like, how in the hell is it fair that a team that won 11, 12 games has to travel on the road to a team that's less than 500 in the playoffs, right? And then, of course, they end up losing that game. And once again, man, thanks in no small part to that epic run that we saw from Marshawn Lynch in that game. And so, man, that's I'm pretty sure this is the first time we're gonna have a sub 500 winner since that Seahawks team. I'm trying to think about it, but I think that really may be it. I see some of y'all in the building early this morning. You know, say Josh in the chat, say what's up to your dog. And then I've also, man, if you know of another sub 500 team that made it to the playoffs and hosted the game, man, let me know, because I'm struggling to find one besides that. I want to say that was 2013. I want to say, for some reason, that's what popped in. I want to say 2013, but I can't be for sure. But nah, man, that was a fantastic game. Historical moment. Like I said, that's on the NFL's forever highlight tape. You know what I mean? Like if the NFL shows its highlights, that run's gonna be on there. That Marshawn Lynch Beachquake run, the first one, right? And then the second one was legendary too, but this first one was relevant right now that we're talking about. That's gonna go in there with we've all seen that same highlight of Earl Campbell running through. I think it was the Rams defensive line. His jersey gets ripped. He headbutts somebody dead in the chest on the way to like an 8 or 12 yard run. You know what I mean? Like that highlight's been playing for the NFL since like 76. You know what I'm saying? So that Beastquake 1 and 2, but Beastquake 1 is going to be on that forever NFL highlight tape, man. So that's a legendary game and a legendary moment from Marshawn for sure. But other than that, man, hold on. I see a couple of y'all in here. What's going on? Let's see. Sis in the building said, what's going on? Hey, yeah, y'all know what's going on, man. It's 2026. We done made it, man. Somebody drop something in the chat. Say what's up to your dog, man. Hey, I see my dog, man. Hey, my dog D in the building, man. Come on, man. You know what time it is, big dog. You know what time it is, dog. Big Nation Business in the building. Come on, man. You know what time it is. Yeah. Hey, yeah, he know exactly what time it is. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Yeah, let's go. Man, we finna kick the Ravens' ass, boy. I'm going to tell you. Let's go. Let's go. Big TJ coming back, man. That's why you see I had to dust off, you know what I'm saying? I had to dust off my war ready attire. You know what I'm saying? I had to get myself together. You know what I mean? Big TJ making his return. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, man, we got a big one here today. We got a big one here today for sure. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. But hold on here. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and get into some of this fun. And actually, kind of like I said before, let's recap. There was 2 games last night, right? And they definitely had big playoff implications, right? So let's recap those. The first of which, and I think I kind of mentioned this one before, but let's talk about yesterday's first game, I guess we'll call it the afternoon game for Saturday. Tampa Bay on the road at Carolina. Carolina had a chance to secure this division. They've actually had a chance to secure that division the last 2 weeks. And they lost both games, and now they no longer hold their own destiny. Tampa Bay has been reeling, to say the least, especially this whole second half of the season. I think this win in Carolina is just their second win over the last like 6 or 7 games, right? As they've things have really came apart there in Tampa Bay. But they do go on the road. They do get this must-win game to at least give themselves a shot. And so both these teams will be locked in for sure, watching the outcome of that Falcons and Saints game, right? Because the winner, it's all going to be on Atlanta. If Atlanta wins that game, Tampa Bay wins that division and goes to the playoffs. If Atlanta loses that game, then Carolina, same scenario, right? They're going to win that division, and then they'll go into the playoffs. And so two other cities are going to be highly tuned into that Atlanta and New Orleans games for sure, with their playoff lives on the road. Talking about the game itself, let's see. Big Baker Mayfield went for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick. Let's see. Bucky Irving had a real it was a real workman-like performance, but it's what was needed. You know what I mean? Every game's not going to be a game where you average 6 yards a carry and light the board up for 3 TDs. That's just not how it's going to go, right? Sometimes you have to be able to do what Tampa Bay did and just grind it out. Bucky Irving had 26 carries for 85 yards, right? So that's not at all a highlight standalone performance, but that is essentially like what playoff football is about. Like good on good, everybody knows the stakes, win or go home. It's not going to be pretty, and sometimes you just got to get in there and bang your head against the brick wall, man, until you break through. And that's what 26 for 85 does, especially in a game like this on the road against a Carolina Panthers team that had been playing better and hotter than yourselves if you're the Bucs, right? And so big performance for him there. And then also Cade Otton had a big game, 7 catches for 94 yards, and the lone touchdown thrown from Baker Mayfield as well. On the other side, we've got Bryce Young. He threw for 266 yards, finishes with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Ted McMillan had he had an impactful day, man, and we're going to talk about it for sure. He finishes with 4 catches for 85 yards. And then, of course, the biggest play of the game potentially is the late offensive pass interference call against Benjamin Morrison, the rookie from Notre Dame. I want to say I liked him. I liked his film a lot, man. He was injured his whole last year at Notre Dame, I want to say, or maybe the bulk of it, if not that whole last year. But that year before tape, I believe, I'm going to call it his junior tape. That junior tape was fantastic in my mind, right? So I thought he was one of the better man cover guys coming in for sure, even off the injury. But if you don't know, we're going to talk about it. Ted McMillan, he's lined up. He's outside at X on the backside, right? And he's got press man coverage from Benjamin Morrison. I want to say this was like a 3rd down as well. I want to say maybe it was 3rd and 5 or 3rd and medium, somewhere in there, I want to say. And it's essentially just a one-on-one go ball, right? And so Benjamin Morrison is in press at the line. There's a little hand fight. And then here's where the penalty is, right? Ted McMillan stole on that man. You can call it what you want to, man. Ted McMillan, there's some hand fighting going on, some chopping of the wrist, etc. All that's fair play. Ted McMillan's about 6'4", roughly 220 pounds. The man threw a full-fledged right hook and hit Brandon Morrison in the head and knocked the man into the sideline. You know what I mean? Now they're right there up against the sideline because they're backside on the line at it. You know what I'm saying? But he stole the man. He clubbed the man in the head and knocked him off balance into the sideline. Then, of course, he breaks free on his go ball. Bryce Young gives him an easy enough ball. It's a 30-yard completion, 30 or 35-yard completion. I think it would have put them inside the 40 for sure. I want to say maybe that completion got them to roughly the 30-yard line or so, which is going to be, field goal range. I think it would have put them in field goal range for sure. But the offensive pass interference was called. Now, here's the thing, all right? My humble opinion. I don't hate the call. Now, first off, I think I've said that on the show before. Offensive pass interference is quite possibly my favorite penalty in all of football. It's not called enough, for one. And like offensive pass interference and offensive holding, for one. But those are two of the most heavily pass interference and holding in general are two of the more overwhelmingly skewed penalties called for the offense against the defense. Like, it feels like it's 80-20 on holding for sure, right? And then, but in OPI, it's probably even more so than that. Like we can remember critical OPI calls throughout the course of the season because there's not a lot that get called, right? And so in this one, I don't hate that call. Now, of course, I'm never a fan of having the game more or less decided by a close call or questionable call or a flat out bad call. I'm never in favor of the referees having such a strong impact on the outcome of a game. But I'm going to tell you right now, bro, you cannot club a man in the head to create separation, period. Now, maybe if Ted McMillan's not 6'4" and Brandon Morrison's is not 5'10", then maybe he catches him on the shoulder pad. And you know what I'm saying? That's fair game. You know what I mean? Fair exchange and no robbery. You hit the man in the shoulder. You can't club nobody in the head in any facet of football to free yourself offensively or defensively and that not be a penalty, right? And I'll tell you why we know that for sure. Because Deacon Jones, one of the forefathers of defensive line, defensive end play, edge rushers, when you sack a quarterback, it's called a sack because it's that name, sacking the quarterback, was given or applied or taken from Deacon Jones. Deacon Jones named the sack. And his go-to sack move in the 60s with the Rams, he was a bad boy, him and Merlin Olsen on that fearsome foursome Rams defensive line. You know what I'm saying? Do your Googles, man, right? Deacon Jones, his go-to move back then was the head slap. He fires off the line, he gives you a two-piece to the helmet. Pat, pat. And then he goes by you because you'd have been stolen, slapped in the face, right? Now, that move is outlawed. That move didn't make it to the 80s. You know what I mean? Deacon Jones got that off in the 60s, and I think he may have played in the early early parts of the 70s or so, that move didn't make it. I don't think it made it through the 70s, and it definitely didn't make it to the 80s. You cannot hit anybody in the head to free yourself. Pass rushers, if you're a D lineman or an offensive lineman, you can't rush and put your hands in the guy's face because illegal hands to the face. And if you're blocking, you can't block and put your hands in somebody's face, right? You cannot strike, you can, especially forcefully, but you cannot strike another player in the head. Even on a stiff arm, you can only stiff arm a guy in the face for so long, or even that's monitored. It's got to be a quick push, a quick pat. You can't, if you extend it or hold on too long, etc., that's a penalty. You cannot club people in the face to create any style of separation or freedom, or to free yourself, or to just give yourself any style of advantage. You cannot do that by clubbing or striking somebody in the face. Ted McMillan at 6'4", 220 threw a right hook and knocked that boy into the sideline, man. I don't want to hear it. Period. Hit him in the shoulder, Ted. It ain't you 6'4", he's 5'10". Okay. But man, get your aim together, bro. You swinging across like you swinging at a dude your height. Cam Chancellor wasn't across from you, dog. That man's 5'10". So yeah, maybe if he's a bigger corner, if he's a more upright in his stance, maybe you hit him in the shoulder. That's fair game. You hit that man in the shoulder and he stumbles, loses balance, it is what it is, right? You can't club a man in the head to free yourself, period. So I agree with the call, man. I agree with the call. I'm not going to lie to you. I agree with the call. But be that as it may, and that's was definitely impactful for sure. But we also have to remember, man, that these are 60-minute ball games, man. These are 60-minute ball games. Carolina came out and started that game, I think for the first 2.5 quarters, they were down 10-0 at home. So there was opportunities there to be had. Also, Bryce Young, he did throw the interception. And honestly, even the interception, he doesn't have the arm. He couldn't get that ball out there. I think he was opposite hash trying to throw, I'm going to just call it an out, right? I can't remember the route. But I want to say he was opposite hash and he was trying to throw outside the numbers on the right sideline. He doesn't have the arm to get it there, man. And that is what it is. Those are the things that me and my dog Chop, we've debated it before about the viability of Bryce Young as a true franchise quarterback. He's limited. He's limited. Not that he can't find success or not that you can't be successful, but the onus of his success is so heavily weighted in the scheme and finding a way to creatively do the same 3 or 4 things that he's able to do, given his size and athleticism limitations, to make him viable. We got to work too hard to make Bryce Young good. That's my problem. We got to work too hard to make him good because of, like I said, man, the obvious. You know what I mean? And that play was one of those ones. He just didn't have the arm to get it there, man. It's a lolly. He threw a lollipop from the opposite hash, trying to get to the right outside the hash numbers. Man, it looked like a 500 ball, man. I don't know if when y'all was kids, y'all played 500, where somebody just throws the ball in the air, and it's a point. You throw the ball as high and as far as you can. You yell out 300 points or whatever, and then everybody else is down there just trying to catch a Hail Mary ball. It looked like one of them, man. He just couldn't get it there, and it's an interception. And so, be that as it may, they still do have a chance. They still do have a chance because, again, the winner of this Atlanta and New Orleans game will be the deciding factor. If Atlanta wins, Tampa Bay gets in. If the Saints win, then Carolina gets in. And so they still do have a chance. Now, here's for me the bigger problem or tale in this game for the Panthers is they got no production from their two-headed running back tandem, man. They got Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. Chuba Hubbard, of course, he's been a little hit and miss this season. He got injured, and then Rico Dowdle essentially supplanted him as the top back in the offense on the run that he went on. That Rico Dowdle run mid-season really was the spark that got the Panthers kind of in the groove that they are now and got them in position to threaten a playoff spot and threaten this NFC South Championship. Well, those two guys combined for 20 yards. They got 12 combined carries for 20 combined yards from, your what's really the backbone of this offense, that running game and those running backs, right? And so I think that definitely also was a big part of that. And then also by comparison, right, we just talked about for the Bucs, Bucky Irvin had to grind it out, 26 carries for 85 yards. right? And so not a fantastic production day, but again, you in these playoff style matchups, good on good, win or go home, everybody is at their absolute best because there is no tomorrow. You've got to be able to grind it out, man. You got to be able to grind out and fight for those hard. You've got to make those 1 yard gains 3 yard gains, because that's what playoff football is, right? In the regular season, you want to make a 3 yard gain, a 5 yard gain, 6 yard gain, boom, 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 right? But nah, man. In the playoffs, everything's tighter. Them 1 yard gains got to be 3 yard gains, because that's what Bucky Irvin did, 26 for 85. Right? I think that's what 3.5, 3.6 a carry. That's turning 1 yard gains into threes. 12 for 20 is those 1 yard gains, those 1 yard runs stayed 1 yard runs. They didn't average 2 yards a carry between both of them. 12 carries combined, they didn't touch 25 yards. They couldn't turn 1 into 2. Bucky turned 1 into 3. That was the difference. That was the bigger difference, because both quarterbacks more or less struggled for the most part. Now, Bryce Young, he got those 2 touchdowns in the second half of the game, right? So there was some yardage that came across later. But for the most part, throughout the life of that game, neither passing attack was very viable at all. And so, that's just playoff football, man. That's just playoff football. So I know a lot of people were upset about the OPI call for sure on Ted McMillan, but nah, man, you can't club nobody in the head to free yourself, bro. Period. You just can't. That's a penalty all day long. So I'm not mad at it. But like I said, man, Carolina had their chances. This is a winnable game at the crib, right? Last week, if they won last week, they wouldn't even have to worry about this game. And that's a similar story to my Steelers, right? My Steelers, we got to play the Ravens today for the division rival in our building. We got the same scenario as Tampa Bay. And also, like Carolina, we could have locked up our division last week with a win in Cleveland, but we didn't. We didn't handle business. And so we made our own bed. And so I can't be mad about it now. Let's see. Moving on, man. Last night's game, the Saturday night game. Seattle on the road at San Francisco. This was a big game as well because the number 1 seed was on the line, right? Seattle goes to San Francisco. That defense was fantastic. I mean, they've been playing damn good ball for sure, especially over – I think they really picked it up. I mean, no, they've been pretty solid all year, but I want to say especially kind of this second half of the season, they've really honed in and locked in, man, and they've been playing. They put out some fantastic performances for sure. This was a big win, a tough win, hard-fought win, all those cliches in your rivals building. Everybody knows what the stakes are. Now, both these teams are definitely going to the playoffs, but there's a vast difference between being the number 1 seed and possibly being the 5 or the 6 seed, which is what the future for the Niners is going to bear out now. But securing that number 1 seed on the road against a rival, that's a huge win for those Seahawks, especially shout out to Mike McDonald. And shout out to Sam Darnold as well, his first year there since coming over from the Vikings. Also, interesting enough, Sam Darnold is the second quarterback in NFL history to have back-to-back 14-win seasons, right? The only other quarterback to ever have back-to-back 14-win seasons is Tom Brady. And now Sam Darnold, from the Vikings last year to the Seahawks this year. So kudos, man. Shout out to Sam the Man Darnold. Shout out to those shout out to those Seahawks. And this is a big win. As far as the game itself, Sam Darnold had 198 yards, no touchdowns, no picks in this one. But the story of this game also, kind of like we saw in Carolina, their 2-headed running back tandem of Kenneth Walker III and Zach Charbonnet, they controlled this game. They were the dominant forces in this game. And it all ties back to, just like I was saying, man, when we get to playoff time, right? When it's good on good and everything's on the line, you have to be able to impose your will, man. You have to run. You have to be able to run the ball. And you have to be able to run the ball at will. Like you cannot be pushed from it. You cannot go around it. You cannot give up on it. You have to be able to run the ball. And a lot of times in these style of matchups, whoever runs the ball best is who's going to win the game. That was the case in this one. Between Kenneth Walker III and Zach Charbonnet, they had 33 carries between the two of them, right? Between those 33 carries, they went for 170 yards rushing, or a little over 170 yards rushing and a touchdown between the two of them. And then each of them also contributed a little bit in the running game as well. Kenneth Walker had 16 carries for 97 yards. He added 36 yards receiving. And then Zach Charbonnet had 17 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown, the long touchdown of this game, right? And it was he broke a 25 or 30-yard run. I want to say it was in the first quarter. And I think that it was earlier in the game for sure, and it was the only touchdown scored all day. And so definitely critical. And then he also pitched in, 20, 25 yards receiving as well. Jackson Smith-Njigba, JSN, he finished this game 6 for 84. Capping off a fantastic year for him. Career highs across the board in all three phases. I think he finishes 119 catches, just under 1,800 yards and 10 touchdowns. And so fantastic season for JSN, who really catapulted himself into that tier one, man, of NFL receivers for sure, at least in my book. I mean, when we talk about Justin Jefferson, we talk about Jamar Chase, we talk about A.J. Brown, we talk about C.D. Lamb. JSN is a guy that his name is definitely in that company, in that mix for sure. I think so. So fantastic day there for Seattle. Brock Purdy in this one, 127 passing yards, no touchdowns, one interception late that was critical. And we'll talk about that. And then he also had 20 yards on the ground. And then C-Mac, man, CMC, rough day. 8 carries for 23 yards, right? Goes back to kind of just like we said about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Panthers game. One team ran the ball, one team couldn't. When both defenses are firing up, it's good on good. One team was physical, one team was able to win the physical battle, and one team wasn't. Because that's what the run game shows you. The run game shows us who's winning the physical battle. And so Tampa Bay won the physical battle in theirs, they won that game. Seattle dominated the physical battle in this one, right? They were able to run the ball with a two-headed tandem that San Francisco couldn't stop. San Francisco, for their side, C-Mac, they couldn't out physical the Seahawks defensive line, that defensive front. C-Mac goes 8 for 23 yards. He has 6 catches for 34 yards, right? And then he did have a critical. Well, here's the thing about it. So they're in the short red zone. Brock Purdy is throwing an out. I'm just gonna call it an out because the route was right there on the right sideline. I want to say at the 3 or 5 yard line, right there in front of the end zone. And so he throws it out to Chris McCaffrey. Chris McCaffrey, he has separation. He very well may score if he's able to catch the ball clean and maybe turn up, pivot and then maybe get himself in the end zone, or at least right there down at the goal line somewhere in that mix, right? And so it looked like they had an opportunity there. Now, the pass does get tipped at the line ever so slightly because the ball did get to C-Mac, but it did get tipped. Because you can see its rotation has a little wobble while it's on the way to C-Mac, and so he ends up having to kind of slow down and turn around for that ball, right? And this allows the defender to make up the distance. To make up that distance. Now, Chris McCaffrey still fumbled that ball, I'm saying he bobbled. There we go. He still did bobble that pass. Not a great pass, not a perfect pass. I expect Christian McCaffrey to make that play because he's Christian McCaffrey. You know what I mean? Because he's Christian McCaffrey. So I want him to make that play. But even if he's not going to make that play, what can't happen is what did. I mean, we get a bobble. It is a tough play, tough catch. The ball changes path and trajectory and rotation while it's on the way to you. Your momentum's going one way. I'm not downplaying the pass at all or the difficulty of the play. But unfortunate circumstance, that's the game we play. He bobbles it, and the defender from Seattle is able to recover and then actually comes in and intercepts that pass off of Chris McCaffrey's fingers there, right there up against their own red zone, which was definitely critical because, as we know, they only scored 3 points in this game, right? Seattle only scored 13. I mean, so touchdowns were at a premium, and so that's the interception from Brock Purdy. Fantastic play by the Seattle defender, rallying, staying in pursuit, right? And then getting there and making a play, getting a key turnover to really help, secure that victory. It still wasn't clean on Seattle's side as well, man. It could have been a little more stretched out. They missed 2 kicks in this game. Their kicker, Jason Myers, he was 2 for 4. And then honestly, the 2 he missed, I don't think they were super, I'm not going to call them necessarily chip shots. One of them I think was, right? But I don't think, one of them was, I think, definitely a chip shot. Roughly 30-yard field goal. We're going to call that a chip shot, right? The other one may have been a little longer, 40, 45. Still a very makeable field goal for sure. And the way I feel about it, I think I've said it on the show before, the way I feel about it, if it's less than 50, you got to bang those in, man. Especially this day and age, in kicking in the NFL, there's no, like, you got to be good for 50. You know what I'm saying? You've got to be good for 50. Outside of any style of like wild weather implications, gale force winds, rain flying sideways. There's certain outliers that, of course, will make concessions for it. But other than that, if it's 50 and in, you got to knock that down. Period. I don't have no. I can't give you too much slack for that. If it's 50 and in, you got to knock that down for sure, in my mind. But rough day there. End up not biting the Seahawks in the end because, again, man, that defense was everywhere. Nick Emmanwori, the safety from South Carolina, he was fantastic. Devin Witherspoon, man, corner from Illinois. I love that kid coming in, man. He was tremendous as well. Both those guys are super, super fast, super aggressive, super physical, and they definitely made their presence felt. That Seattle defensive front definitely impactful. I mean, this Seattle Seahawks defense is definitely flying around at all levels, and they're going to be a tough out, man. Seattle getting that number 1 seed is probably worst case scenario for anybody in the NFC. I'm not going to lie, because playing in Seattle, I think that's the most aggressive venue in the NFC. I'm thinking about it. The Rams are a fantastic team, but that LA venue is not that Seattle venue. I'll still say the Seattle home field advantage is going to Seattle is worse case scenario than going to LA in my opinion, for what that's worth, right? And then let's say even San Francisco, they're a tough team as well. That's I don't know, man. That environment in Seattle, right? The 12s, we know about that. We already talked about, shout out to Beast Mode and Beastquake 1. We already just talked about it, but that stadium itself in the NFC, I mean, that's the NFC's Chiefs Stadium, right? It's routinely the loudest or one of the loudest. They go back and forth with the Chiefs Stadium, right? Which is the loudest stadium in the league. And man, it's a rabid fan base there. And so the Seahawks winning the NFC's that first seed in the NFC, I think that's worst case scenario, man, for anybody in the NFC. That's a tough road. That's a tough road, man. That's a tough place to go get a win in for sure. And so I don't know, man. I'm at the see. We're gonna once everything finalizes, we'll talk about how the playoff seeds shook out. And Seattle is 2 home games away from going to the Super Bowl. So let's think about that, man. So that was a big win for the Seahawks for sure. Let's see my dog Derpy in the building, man. Hey, nah, man, we gonna do what we gotta do, man. I know what you mean, man. The NFL definitely wanted this last game between the Steelers and Ravens to come down. They definitely wanted this game, man, to be the determining factor for those playoffs for sure. I feel you, dog. I feel you. The NFL, man, every now and again, man, a button gets pushed, man. I ain't gonna lie. Because also, Derpy, we gotta think about it, dog. Like, if not for this Steelers-Ravens game tonight that has so much weight on it, there wouldn't be any really important games today. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm trying to, if I'm looking at the games really quick, the most important game, the most heavily weighted game today outside of the Steelers and the Ravens is honestly the Saints and the Falcons. And neither one of those teams are playoff teams, but their game's important because it decides who's going to win their division between the other 2 teams in their division. But the game between them 2 itself, it doesn't carry any weight. So without the Steelers-Ravens matchup, man, I'm checking again real quick. I mean, because without that Steelers-Ravens matchup for Sunday Night Football, then, bruh, there is nothing else. There's some solid matchups for sure, but nothing that has any weight on it. You know what I mean? And then also, I mean, the NFL needed this one, man. NFL needed this. They need this Steelers-Ravens game today, man, to really give some weight to today's games. Because otherwise, man, this just could have been essentially just a blank week. Like I said, most teams, there's 7 playoff spots in each division. Each division has 6 of those spots locked up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, like, there's not really a lot to play for. I don't even think seeding-wise, I think there may be 2 games that may impact seeding. I think Jacksonville, if they win, they need to win today to give themselves a chance at the 2 seed, I believe. Because I think they're in the 3 seed right now. But I think if they win and some other tiebreakers and the right person loses, maybe they get to the 2 seed. But outside of some movement like that, I think the Rams game today has an impact because they have a chance to secure the 5 seed versus the 6 seed. You know what I mean? But outside of those kind of tweaks, there's not a lot of weight in a lot of these games. You know what I'm saying? And so having this Steelers-Ravens game for all the marbles, right? And it's an historic rivalry. You know what I mean? So having this game for all the marbles, it definitely bailed out Week 18 for the NFL. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, maybe somebody, maybe a button got pushed to what? I don't know, man. But I feel you though, man. I feel you. But no, we're gonna handle business. We're gonna handle business, Derby, for sure. Hey, my dog, Pretty Tony the Paint in the building, man. Hey, I appreciate you. Yeah, man, we slipping. I appreciate you, big dog. Yeah, sir. Hey, but Derby, man, hey, you see, I came war ready, big dog. Come on, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. Yeah, big TJ, man. Back in the flesh. Yeah, man, he been out. Somebody sabotaged him in the medical room. They punctured my dog's lung. You know what I mean? He's back today, though. Yeah, he back today. So, man, we're going to handle our business for sure. For sure. But without further ado, let me make sure we firing on all cylinders. There we go. Without further ado, man, let's get into some of these games for today. First one up, the one we've been talking about a little bit here, New Orleans on the road at Atlanta. Now, this game itself isn't hitting on much of anything, but the outcome of this game decides the NFC South participant in the playoffs upcoming, right? We beat this horse dag near to death, and so this will be the final nail in that coffin. Excuse me. New Orleans on the road. I've got Atlanta squeaking this one out. At home, 24-21. Captain Kirk Cousins, he has been playing. He's been playing decent. Now, on the other side as well, Tyler Shutt, the rookie second rounder, he's played well. There's no other way around it. I wasn't a big fan of the player or the pick when they drafted him, of course, right? But he's played well. He's played damn well, right? And they've won a few games behind his play for sure. This game, and this is a very heated rivalry as well, man. The Saints and the Falcons is a big rivalry. Shout out to my dog Tom, man. Me and my dog Tom, we used to go to New Orleans we found ourselves in New Orleans a time or two. And one of the times we were down there in New Orleans, trying to have a good time, it was Falcons Saints game week. And the Falcons were in New Orleans, for that game. And when I tell you, you'd have thought it was Mardi Gras. You'd have thought it was Mardi Gras outside. And then also, man, the Falcons was there deep as well. Because it was a cool time, man. It's one of the things, one of the memories I always remember is being in New Orleans when the Falcons were traveling there. And this is, I want to say, when, it was Matty Ryan and Drew Brees, I want to say. You know what I mean? Like, the city was turned. You'd have thought it was Mardi Gras season. You know what I'm saying? So this is a big game for these fan bases. I've got Atlanta squeaking this one out at the crib. That defense has been turning the ball over. Shout out to Xavier Watts. You know what I mean? And then also, man, shout out to those young rushers where James Pierce Jr. and what's my dog from guy from Georgia? I'm struggling on your name here now, man. But that defense, they're young, they're flying around, they're turning the ball over, and then of course offensively, Captain Kirk has got something going with Kyle Pitts. Bijan Robinson is playing fantastic. Highlight play after highlight play, it feels like. And so he's playing well as well. And so this one, with them being at home, I got to get an edge to the Falcons there, man. I definitely do. And then, of course, with a Falcons victory, that means that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I guess, should, if this plays out how I'm looking, then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should win that NFC South division at 8-9 and then get that last remaining playoff seed or spot ahead of the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young, though they did have an impressive season, I guess, for their expectations, who they are, where they are as a team. This was it's, I don't know, man. I don't want to go too hard, you know what I mean? Because they still lost, you know what I mean? And they're under 500 and they missed the playoffs. But in the grand scheme, seeing how far this team has came, right, in such a short time as well with Liam Cohen. No, that's not Liam Cohen. That's Jacksonville. With Dave Canales, there's the head coach, benching Bryce Young last year, right, for a good stretch, bringing him back his redemption arc, how he finished last year strong. This season starts off a little hit and miss. They catch a stride as well. And so this was still a season to be optimistic about. I'll say that. You could be optimistic going forward if you're the Panthers. Now, I'm still not convinced that Bryce Young is the guy I want to tie my future to because of those limitations that I've been hammering for sure. But be that as it may, man, they definitely got some things to hang their hat on. That defense has some. That defense is another piece or two away from maybe being a more dominant force in the league. J.C. Horn is fantastic. Derek Brown on the defensive front, he's fantastic, right? And so they've got a couple pieces there to build around for sure. And then offensively, you found something in Ted McMillan, man. I wasn't as high on Ted McMillan coming in, honestly. Definitely, I think he was a top 5 receiver for me coming into the draft. I think I had him at 5, man. I didn't love his film, just flat out. But he's balled. Yeah, actually, I think he set the Panthers rookie receiving record. He went over 1,000 yards in his rookie year. I think he ended up finishing with 70-ish catches for a little over 1,000 yards and 7-8 touchdowns. So fantastic rookie year there. Jalen Coker, the second year undrafted guy, I want to say that they had last year, who really emerged as the top rookie receiver last year. Mind you, they drafted Xavier Legette in the first round in that same draft. So Jalen Coker is a guy that you can really be, I think he's a competent quality number 2, right? Going forward to pair with Ted McMillan. You still have Xavier Legette, right? See what you can glean from him as well. And then, of course, that 2-headed running back tandem with Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard, right? So they've got some pieces there in Carolina to be optimistic about for sure. And then, like I said, man, I can't wait to see what they do with Bryce Young or how that plays out. I think he's up for his 5th-year option, is eligible. Or no, maybe I think this coming season will be his 4th year, and so they'll have to make the decision on his 5th-year option in this offseason, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, somebody might have to let me know. And so I'm curious to see what they do there, man. I'm curious to see. Hey, my dog Pretty Tony in the building. Hey, man, I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, me and Tom was down there one weekend, dog. We was in New Orleans, and yeah, it was like Falcons game week. And, bro, when I tell you they was outside, boy, and I think the Falcons may have won. And I'm talking about like they was on Beale Street or in the quarter, you know what I'm saying? And they was out there in numbers, and they was out there looking for smoke, man. I'm talking about they had people was out there in dunks, like they was like wrapped in all Falcons gear. I'm talking about I seen super fans in like 3-piece suits with top hats, falconed out. You know what I'm saying? Like it was real, man. And so it was definitely a good time, man. It was definitely a good time for sure. But yeah, it definitely was. It was live, bro. It really was. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie as well. I think that is going to be a good game, dog. And especially on today's slate, because not a lot of teams have a lot to play for. And these two teams, for sure, the Saints and the Falcons, they're not playing for anything. They're not in the playoff hunt or anything like that. But just like my dog Miles said, like we was talking about, this is a heated rivalry. You know what I mean? And so I think both these teams are going to show up ready to play. And then also Tyler Shuck, man, I think he's probably bought himself, this upcoming year to where the Saints don't necessarily have to like go back to the well for a quarterback. I think he's done enough to at least buy himself one more year. Now, also with this 2026 QB class being underwhelming, that also helps that as well. But he still needs a strong showing, right? To finish this year strong to maybe secure or erase any doubt that may be there. You know what I mean? And then also Captain Kirk, man, Kirk Cousins. We don't know what his future looks like. As far as we know, I mean, I believe he still wants to play ball. Right, he's still looking to maybe for his swan song, man. I don't think he wants to end it the way it's ended, losing his starting job to a rookie, Michael Penix. Now, Michael Penix, with the injury he sustained, and I don't know the timeline for his return, but I know it could be extended or whatnot. But Kirk Cousins as well, man. Whether it's going to be in Atlanta or somewhere else, but he still got reasons to want to put good tape out there as well. You know what I mean? And so I'm with you, bro. I think this is actually going to be a pretty tough game for sure, for sure. Let's see, moving on, man. Cleveland on the road at Cincinnati. Give me Cincinnati 27-20 at the crib. Now, in this one, man, Myles Garrett is still in search of that sack record. So Myles Garrett needs 1 sack. He needs a full sack to break T.J. Watt's record. T.J. Watt, Michael Strahan's record at 22.5. Mind you, they gave Myles Garrett that fugazi-ass sack 2 weeks ago against the Buffalo Bills where he didn't touch the damn quarterback at all at any play, at any point. He didn't touch anybody. They gave him half a sack because he cried about it. And so here we are, right? But he needs one sack today to fully own that individual sack, single sack record. And against this soft-ass Cincinnati Bengals offensive line, he very well may get it. He very well may shatter that record because he's going against these weak-ass Bengals. And so he may turn in 2.5. He may turn in 2.5 today. I hope he doesn't. I supremely hope he doesn't. But be that as it may, I do expect the Bengals to still get this done. 27-20. And then also for the Browns, man, I want to see Shadur, his last game of his rookie year, tumultuous as it was, right? How it started. And then, you know, him getting a couple sparks in some high moments here. And then now to conclude his season, the Cincinnati Bengals defense has been more or less a laughingstock or a joke across the league for the last few seasons. So I say all that to say, I definitely think that there may be an opportunity for Shadur to maybe find some success. But at the same time that I'm thinking about it, he's down 2 starters on his offense. Harold Fannin Jr., fantastic rookie tight end, I think out of Bowling Green. He's been fantastic and a little under the radar, a little unsung, but he's been fantastic. He's on IR. He got injured, I think, in their last game, and his season's over. Quinshot Judkins, their starting running back, rookie from Ohio State. He had been pretty solid in his rookie campaign. We, of course, know that 2 weeks ago, he suffered a terrible injury, broke his leg, dislocated his ankle on the same leg as well. So terrible injury for him. He's out. And so they are down 2 starters and probably the 2 most dependable guys at the skill positions. Because Jerry Jeudy's inconsistent and you can't count on him, right? Just flat out, that's just what it is. And then David Njoku had been overwhelmingly outplayed by rookie Harold Fannin Jr. And so with those 2 weapons out, you know, and now that I'm thinking about it, man, that 20 points might be a little hard to come by, Cleveland. But I'm going to leave it where it's at. I'm going Cincinnati to get the job done. I hope they do it without giving up no damn sacks to Myles Garrett. But I'm looking for Cincinnati to handle business at the home, at their home, 27-20. Let's see. Green Bay on the road at Minnesota. This one here, and because with Green Bay, I'm not sure. I think there are some playoff seed implications in this game for them. I believe if they win this game and if the Bears lose, then I think Green Bay would secure the 6th seed. And so Green Bay is definitely in a play. They've locked the playoff spot for sure. And I think there's some seeding implications in this game. And so I think they may get a better seed with a win and a Bears loss, if I'm not mistaken. Now, also for the Packers, though, injury concerns, man. Malik Willis has been, he's injured. He's been beat up and banged up. Of course, Jordan Love was in concussion protocol. Same thing. He's been a little injured and banged up as well. I'm not even sure which of those guys are starting today, to tell you the truth. I want to say Jordan Love because I think Malik Willis is still on the injury report as questionable, and I don't think Jordan Love was on the last injury report I saw. And so I'm assuming that Jordan Love is going to be starting this one, and I do think that they can improve their playoff seeding with a win. So there is something still to play for a little bit here in this one. So I'm going to take the Packers to get this done on the road, 23-19. Now, this Vikings defense, we know what they're about. We know what they could do, right? We know this Vikings defense just upset these same Packers, 3 weeks ago, I want to say. And so, and that was in Green Bay. And so now at home in their building, this is not going to be an easy game at all. This is going to be a hard-fought game for these Packers if they get this done. But I'm taking Jordan Love and the Packers on the road to do so. Like I said, they've got something to fight for as well. I think they have a live shot at that 6th seed versus the 7th seed. And so I think they do still have something to play for today. And so I'll take the Packers 23-19 to get this done. Let me see. Dallas on the road at the Giants. Give me Dallas, man. This is there's nothing much to talk about here. It may as well be a toilet bowl, man. May as well be a toilet bowl. Dallas on the road at the Giants with absolutely nothing on the line but pride. Give me Dallas 27-17. News from Dallas: Javonte Williams was placed on IR, so his season is done in Dallas, and it was a fantastic year. And I've said it before on the show. I'm gonna say it again. Don't worry about it. Javonte Williams was my favorite back coming into the league in his draft class. He came in with, it was him, Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, and then also he had a counterpart at Carolina that came in with him. I'm blanking on Buddy's name now, man. My bad. But it was a pretty good class that year. At least those three-headed guys, that three-headed monster at the top. Javonte Williams was my favorite of the bunch. He went to Denver. He got injured. He was beat up. He couldn't really get his footing there, and so he signs with Dallas as a free agent this year. Dallas lets Rico Dowdle go. They bring in Javonte Williams. And then he was fantastic. I think in this long season, because it's just a 1-year deal, in this long season, I think he hit 1,200 yards in this season. I'm not sure his touchdowns. Maybe he had 7-8 touchdowns. I'm not sure he got the 10 touchdowns, but 1,200 yards from a free agent signing in the offseason. Also, that guy coming off injury. That was a fantastic year for Javonte Williams, man. So shout out to him. And we'll see what happens with him going forward, man. But I do expect the Cowboys to more or less dominate this game without much issue. Tennessee on the road at Jacksonville. Give me Jacksonville 28-20 in this one. So Jacksonville as well, they've already locked up a playoff spot for sure. I think the win, I do think that they have to win this game to secure the AFC South division title, I believe. Like, I do think there's a chance the Texans could maybe win this division. That may not be accurate. I do believe that the Jaguars do still have something to play for in winning this game. And I want to say, oh no, did they not secure the division last week? I may be mistaken there. I believe they may have secured the division, but I do think that they could possibly improve playoff seeding. I want to say, I think they're the 3 seed now. And I think if they win and if either Denver or the Patriots lose, they may be able to get the 2 seed, I believe. But be that as it may, there is still value to winning this game for Jacksonville, and it's at home. And I don't care who you are, what team you are. I don't want to lose my last game at home before the playoffs. If this game's on the road and maybe there's not a lot riding on this game, then yeah, a road loss in which we can say that we're saving our guys or resting our guys. I don't want to lose on my home field before the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I do think there's value in winning this game, and also it should be a very winnable game against the bottom team in the division, the Tennessee Titans. Now the Titans have strung together a couple decent performances. They found a way to win a game or two over this last month or so, and so I don't think they have anything for the Red Hot Jaguars at this point, but division games, division rivalries and all that good stuff, they may put up a good showing. And more or less, honestly, I think they may get a late score. So I think Jacksonville's going to be in control of this one. Tennessee may get a late score to kind of tighten up the score, but I've got Jacksonville winning this game 28-20. Let's see. Indianapolis on the road at Houston. Give me Houston 24-16. So with last Monday, 2 Mondays ago, no, that was last Monday. Last Monday night's loss by the Colts to the Niners eliminated them from the playoffs. And then also, it looks like that, and I think I talked about it on the show as well, where with the Colts being officially eliminated from the postseason, I don't think we're going to see any more of Phillip Rivers. And then I think in the reports that I saw earlier this week, he's not expected to play in this one because, again, they're eliminated from the playoffs. Now, the Texans also, they still have something to play for in this one as well. I think with a win, the Texans secured the 5 seed for the playoffs. Yeah, I think if they win, they get the 5 seed, which means they'll likely be bringing their funky asses to Pittsburgh in that 4-5 matchup, wild card weekend. So, yeah, come on with it. But they do have something to play for here. And then, of course, the Colts, without anything to play for, go ahead and put an old man Rodgers back out the pasture. They'll have rookie Riley Leonard making the start. I don't expect I don't expect. I mean, that's a tough ask to ask the coach with Riley Leonard to go to Houston, right? Probably the best defense in the league this year as well, and to go in there in that building and get a dub, especially when you're not playing for anything but pride, and they still got money on the table, and so I do expect Houston to get this done. 24-16 is where I'm going there. Let's see. New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills, short and sweet, 28-13. Buffalo Jets aren't playing for anything but a top 2 pick in the draft, top 2-3 pick in the draft, and then be that as it may as well. Buffalo should put this one away early, I would think, and just kind of coast into the playoffs as well. Buffalo, I think when the Patriots won last week against the Jets, I think that did secure the AFC East for the Patriots, if I'm remembering correctly. And so the Bills, I don't think they can. I'm pretty sure I don't think they can still win that AFC East. But playoff seeding wise, I think they also may be in play for that 5 seed, I believe. And so, but be that as it may, I expect them to win this game regardless, right? And get this done against the Jets. Let's see, Detroit on the road at Chicago. Now this, I'm not gonna lie, man. This was a tough game for me to call. The Lions are out of the playoffs, right? So they're not necessarily fighting for a playoff spot. But Dan Campbell and that Lions team, if we've learned anything about Dan Campbell's Lions over these last 4 seasons, they fight hard. They fight to the end. The fact that they don't have a chance for the playoffs is not going to matter to them. They are going to go out there fighting tooth and nail to get this win, to end their season on a high, and go out there and beat a division rival in the Chicago Bears. Now, it is Chicago at home, and Chicago has been, I mean, they've been riding a fine line, man. They've been finding ways in the critical and crunch moments of games to pull close, tough ones out. Caleb Williams has been fantastic in those moments. A lot of the times, his touchdown throw in overtime against Green Bay Packers may be the throw of the year. I mean, it may be one of the best throws of the year, just for all the implications, the placement on that pass as well. I mean, a fantastic throw for sure. So I will take the hotter team at home, Chicago Bears. And then also, same thing like I said about Jacksonville. If you're going into the playoffs, I don't give a damn who or what you are. I don't want our last game on our field to be a loss before we go into the playoffs. That's just me. So I do think Chicago will go out there and they're going to play this game as well, looking to win. And also, same like we said before, man, I think there may be some seeding implications here. I think the Bears have a shot at either the 2 or 3 seed, depending if they win and the right teams lose. And so, like I said, man, there's a lot of seeding implications in today's games, but not maybe not necessarily a lot of there's not any win or go home to any of these games until we get to my boys. Yeah, you feel me? Chargers on the road at Denver. Give me Denver at the crib, 24-21. The Chargers are playing damn well, honestly, and especially considering like what they've been up against this season. Shout out to my dog Isaiah, you know what I mean? And shout out to my dog RTC as well, man. My Chargers fans that be in the building some most mornings with me. But the Chargers, man, for as injured as they are, both they've got 2 all-pro caliber tackles on IR, right? Justin Herbert's been running for his life. He had broke a bone in his hand. They haven't had much of a running game. Their top 3 running backs at different points of this year were on IR. Or no, the top 2 were on IR at different points. One of those being a rookie, Amarian Hampton, who has returned to the lineup, right? And then Kamani Vidal. Nobody knows where he came from, but he's been viable. You know, he's been solid in his opportunities for sure as well. But the Chargers are they're playing very well. They're at what, 11-12 win team, right? Quiet as kept, and you know, so they're playing damn well, especially with kind of the injury cards stacked against them. So shout out to Harbaugh, shout out to Justin Herbert as well. And then also, man, that collection of receivers, they don't have much juice. Every time I think about the Chargers, I'm like, man, where's the juice at? Where's the juice? It's not in the running back room. It's not in the receiver room. Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston and old man Keenan Allen, you know what I mean? The rookie from Ole Miss, not Trey Flowers. Man, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? And then the rookie tight end Gadsden, who was a spark plug throughout the year as well. But there's no real juice on that Chargers team in that offense. It's just Justin Herbert. So can he run around? Can he buy time, extend plays, and find a way to get the ball down the field to guys? And they've been able to live and die like that. And they've been doing it well. That defense, same thing, man. It's more so, this Chargers team as a whole is definitely more so the sum is greater than the individual parts for sure. Like, that's how they're operating. Because on the defense as well, man, they don't have a true standout dynamic stud. Derwin James is still there. We know who he is. I'm not trying to disrespect Derwin James, but I'm not going to tell you that he's the same dynamic play-for-play difference maker that he was 4 years ago. You know what I mean? That's just not how it is. Now, he's still a quality player. I don't want to get that misconstrued. But what I'm saying is a kudo and a credit to Jim Harbaugh. Excuse me, not John. John Harbaugh, forgive me, on Sunday morning. But Jim Harbaugh, the way his team is put together and constructed, definitely the sum is greater than any of the individual parts, and they play damn good complementary team football, and they find a way to get games won for sure. Now, they are going on the road to Denver. Denver and their defense, which is one of the top 5 units in the league for sure. Denver, Houston, Cleveland, Seattle. Who am I missing? Denver, Houston, those 4 for sure, right off the rip, I think are the top 4 of the top 5 defenses in the league for sure. And then also, man, I think it's a bad matchup in Denver with that defense and their pass rush. I think they'll be able to get this done, especially at home. Denver as well, kind of like I've been talking about with most of these teams, they're locked into the playoffs. Both these teams are locked to the playoffs, but seeding implications still arrive. I think Denver wins this game. If they win this game, I think they secure the number 2 seed, I want to say, because I don't believe the number 1 seed in the AFC has been confirmed between the Broncos and the Patriots. I don't believe. So maybe even the 1 seed may still be up for grabs. But I think a win today, no, that could be huge then. If the 1 seed is in play in the AFC, somebody help me out. Is the 1 seed still in play in the AFC between the Broncos and the Patriots? Because I think the Patriots winning last week against the Jets, fantastic performance from Drizzy Drake May, 5 touchdowns. But I think that secured the AFC East. That 1 seed may still be in play. So it looks like there's still a lot on the line for Denver for sure. At the worst case, okay, hey, there we go, man. Shout out to my dog James K9 in the building, man. There we go. He said a win today secures the 1 seed for the Broncos. There we go. Okay, good. That's I was thinking, man. I was like, there's something on the line here today. So no, this is a big one. So the Broncos have everything to play for as well, man. They win in the division, and the conference goes through they building. They win this game, and they need 2 more wins to get to a Super Bowl. So this is definitely a big game. They're fired up. The Chargers are coming to their building, who, I already sung their praises, but with this Broncos defense, with the obvious disadvantage of pass protection, Justin Herbert has been abused all season. And he's still found a way to be viable now, but he's been running for his life a lot of games. He's taking a lot of shots, a lot of punishment on the way to climbing to those 11, 12 wins I think the Chargers have. But in this venue, with the number 1 seed on the line for Denver, and with the obvious advantages they just have just defensively, their pass rush should be all over Justin Herbert like white on rice. And then also in the secondary as well, man, Pat Surtain is going to have his way with whoever he lines up against, because like I said, man, there's just not a weapon for the Chargers that worries me at all on the outside. And so, yeah, I think the matchups themselves are overwhelmingly, I go with Denver in this one at home. And then, according to my dog, James 2K, man, James K9, god damn, K9-8U. James, shout out to you, my boy. But according to them, man, this game has number 1 seed implications on them. And yeah, I think Denver gets this done for sure. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and put you on the board as well, man. Appreciate you, big dog. I appreciate you. Oh, he had another one in there I missed. Okay, here we go. So this is a great season. No real juggernaut team. Just a handful of good teams, man. That's a fact. He said he had the Rams for a while as a Super Bowl favorite. Now, Seattle looking like it. The Texans in that defense. Jacksonville. Nah, bro, that's a damn good point. And honestly, when I was talking about that Seattle in the 49ers game earlier, that's what I said. Seattle winning that number 1 seed is worst case scenario for the NFC. I think Seattle, as far as the NFC goes, Seattle is the hardest stadium to play in across the NFC. Like the Rams are a damn good team, but that building is like their home field advantage still doesn't, it's not as difficult as playing in Seattle. Playing in Seattle with the 12th man, as loud as that stadium is, like I think they have a clear advantage. If it's going to be home field, I think playing in Seattle is worst case for everybody involved. The Rams don't want to go to Seattle. Now, they've been there and they fought hard. We know that game that went to overtime and everything that happened just, 3 games ago between the Rams and Seahawks. But so they know what it's like playing that building. The Niners as well. Man, Green Bay. Like, I don't feel great. If I'm any of those teams, I don't want to go to Seattle. Like, I don't want to go to Seattle at all. So I'm with you, bro. I think Seattle, beating Seattle in Seattle is going to be a tall order, dog. Beating Seattle in Seattle in the playoffs with that defense, the way that Seahawks defense is playing as well, man, look, Seattle might be going to Super Bowl, dog. Getting that number 1 seed definitely has swayed. I was with you. The Rams looked like a juggernaut for a lot of this season. They dropped one in Carolina. They had a dicey one that they won earlier in the year against the Colts. A.D. Mitchell more or less maybe gave that game away, right? But other than that, they rolled. You know what I mean? And then also the game they gave away or lost in the second half to the Eagles. But outside of that, they had been a juggernaut. Then they lose that tough one in Seattle in overtime. We know how that shook out. And so I was with you, man. It looked like the Rams were the closest thing we had to a dominant team. But then, man, we've seen how the league, man, this season in particular, man, everything's been kind of balancing itself out. So I'm with you. And now, with Seattle having that home field advantage, big dog, who's going to Seattle against that defense at the crib? Who's going to Seattle against that defense in that stadium with that crowd, them loud ass 12s? Like, who's going to Seattle to get that dub in these playoffs, dog? I don't know. Philly ain't the same Philly. The Rams already been there and got worked out. The Niners, you know what I mean? Like, they just won the number 1 seed in your building, San Francisco. Green Bay, right? They injured and beat up. Micah's out. I mean, I don't feel great about Green Bay going in there. Shit, who's left? I mean, who am I missing? Yeah, I don't know, dog. I think the NFC, I think Seattle might have that. Seattle might be going to the bowl, dog. Seattle probably going to the bowl. The AFC, I'm with you. I think Denver is also a tough place to play. You know, Mile High, Mile High and all those implications as well. But honestly, the Broncos themselves, I feel better about having to go win in Denver than I would about having to go win in Seattle. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. And that Broncos defense is fantastic. Bo Nix and Sean Payton, they've really got something going, got something cooking. But I'll take my chances in Denver before I had to take my chances in Seattle. If you told me I had to win in Denver or win in Seattle to go to the Super Bowl, I'll take Denver 10 out of 10. I'll take my ass and my team to Denver 10 out of 10 before I want to go to Seattle, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Jacksonville is interesting because they've been red hot of late. Trevor Lawrence is playing over this last month. He's played the best football of his career for sure. But I can't trust him. I'm not gonna say I trust Jacksonville to really see it through and get three playoff victories to go to a bowl. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how confident I can be in the Jaguars. The Texans have a Super Bowl caliber defense. That offense has more than enough to be. They've got a lot to work on. Or there are a lot of issues in that offense. Though that defense is special, right? And then also we seen what happened when the Texans went out to Seattle and got worked out. JSN had Derek Stingley on a rope. You know what I mean? On a string. And so, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I think if I had the team I probably feel best about in the NFC is probably Seattle, especially with that number 1 seed. In the AFC, I think the AFC is still pretty open. Because I think there's a few teams that could go to Denver and beat Denver. Buffalo, I like Buffalo's chances of beating Denver in Denver. You know what I mean? Patriots in Denver is a little different, is a little rougher because it's both two young quarterbacks, more or less like they're earning their stripes now, but they're not proven, right? They're not proven in these moments just yet. Like they're making that, they're trying to make that history now. You know what I mean? So Denver and the Patriots, if it's in Denver, maybe that was probably a coin flip. I'll probably give the edge to the Broncos being at home, but I think Jacksonville already went to Denver, right? And got a big victory there, I believe. Am I thinking about Jacksonville? No, I think Jacksonville did. Because I think Jacksonville lost to, or no, I'm thinking of the Packers. No, don't let me get confused. I don't want to confuse myself. But I feel better about a team going to Denver and getting a win in the playoffs more so than I do about one of those teams going to Seattle and getting that dub in the playoffs for sure. No, good comment, big dog. Good comment. Let me see. Hold on. Where we at? Oh, man, there we go. Damn. Vegas James. Yeah, Vegas James, the Chargers fan, big dog. Man, there we go. I appreciate your homeboy. Vegas James, the man, I'm glad you reminded me, dog. I was struggling trying to read them. I was like, man, K98, them, Vegas James, man. Shout out to my dog, man. In the building, boy. I appreciate you. Homeboy. He said he loved passing Denver. Some good history there and two young QBs. No, that'd be I ain't gonna lie. If that's because it more or less that would be the AFC Championship game. Because I think if Broncos win today, and I think they will, at the end they building against the Chargers, I think it's just a bad matchup for the Chargers. So I think they probably win and get that number 1 seed. The Pats, I think, are going to be the 2 seed, right? I don't see them losing today, and then they already won that division. So yeah, they should be the 2 seed. So if they meet, that's going to be the AFC Championship game. And man, dog, I ain't gonna lie, man. That is gonna be a good game. It's gonna be in Denver. Ooh. I love me some Drizzy Drake May, man. I do love me some Drake May. But I don't know, man. Going to Denver, Mile High, and then that defense. I don't necessarily like that matchup. I don't like that matchup for the Patriots. I'm not gonna lie. I would prefer the Patriots. Oh man, I can't believe I just said that out loud. Man, I can't. Somebody I might lose a point. I can't believe I was about to say what I just said. But in reality, I gotta say it, man. I would probably cheer for Drake May to win that game, man. By extension, the Patriots. As bad as that sounds, being a Steelers fan and all, it's hard to say I'm a cheer for the Patriots. But in that hypothetical matchup, I would be pulling for Drake May. I prefer him to Bo Nix for sure, but that's a tough place to win, man. Especially with that Broncos defense, I think that's a bad matchup for Patriots, honestly, especially in Denver's building. My goodness, Patrick Surtain duking it out with Stephon Diggs, man. Advantage Surtain, you know what I mean? And then the rest of those guys are just guys. And that's a kudo and a credit to MVP Drake May, right? MVP Drake May. Don't let us forget that part. MVP Drake May going to Denver. My fault. But still, man, he won an MVP throwing the ball to Mac Hollins, Keyshawn Butte, and a Stephon Diggs, who's getting a little older and who came back from a big injury himself last year. And so they made sugar out of SHIT. You know what I mean? And a lot of instances there. Trayvon Henderson, he's been a spark plug throughout the year as well. So he's explosive. That Patriots defense, it isn't necessarily where I want it to be. They've got pieces there, but yet and still, I don't think that their defense going against the Broncos offense doesn't worry me. I think the Patriots defense more or less is middle of the pack. Yeah, I would have to give that advantage to the Broncos in that one, man. Though I would be pulling for Drake May, I would have to give that advantage to the Broncos. I would. But that's a damn good comment. For sure. Where's we at? Oh, that was Denver and the Chargers we was talking about. There we go. Okay. Kansas City on the road at Vegas. Toilet Bowl. We'll go Kansas City 20-14. Max Crosby set down against his wishes, put on IR. But, I mean, Raiders are playing for a top 5 pick. Kansas City, I guess, just playing for pride. You know what I mean? They'll have to lick their wounds and go home to Kansas after this one and see how they're going to rebuild, recharge, and show back up in 2026. Vegas James said Bo is his QB, but he'll take May for sure. Ah, that's what it is. That's what it is. My fault, cuz. Broncos fan. I said Chargers fan. My fault. I knew you was in Vegas. I mean, once you said Vegas James, I remember I know you was a fan of one of the AFC West teams, but not the Raiders, because the Raiders had just got there. There we go. It's the Broncos. There we go. There we go. And then yeah, Vegas James said he hopes the Raiders win so that they don't get the first pick. Yeah, but they not trying to win this game. And then honestly, even if they tried to win, they might not win this game. Even with Gardner Minshew or Chris Oladukin or whoever at quarterback, it wouldn't even matter. Even if they tried to win, they probably wouldn't win this game. Because the Chiefs' defense is still just far superior to any offering that the Raiders can put forward on the ground offensively. Now, Ashton Jeanty, man, he played his best game in his rookie career so far. Was that 2 weeks ago or last week or 2 weeks ago? Fantastic game. And that was against the Texans. That was against the Texans as well, the best defense in football. So Ashton Jeanty had the best game of his young career against the best defense in the NFL. And so, you know what? I mean, if Ashton Jeanty is able to find that same or similar success against the Chiefs, then the Raiders may have a shot in this one. Because also, we got to keep in mind, the difference in that game, the Raiders versus the Texans, was a pick six by Derek Stingley. They don't get that pick six by Derek Stingley, they lose to the Raiders. The Texans do. You see what I'm saying? So that's a good call out. But no, I don't think the Raiders are going to, the Raiders aren't going to, the Raiders organization isn't going to let this team win. They're going to have that number one pick, right? Max Crosby was bitching and moaning and crying on social media because they forcing him to IR. He's on, he's posting social media videos, dunking basketballs or doing backflips on trampolines or whatever he was doing. So like the fix is in. The Raiders have no intentions of winning this game. They're going to have the number one pick, and then they're going to have their choice between Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore, for sure. And then I would imagine probably it's going to be Fernando Mendoza. I think Tom Brady's gonna be a fan of his attitude. You know, we'll talk about that when it's time to. But let me see. Arizona on the road at the Rams. Give me the Rams in this one, 28-23. And then the Rams, for their part, locked into the playoffs for sure. I believe they may have a chance at the 5 seed. I think if they need to win this game to maybe secure the 5 seed over the Niners, I believe. The Niners who just lost. So I think if the Rams win, I think they get the 5 seed instead of the 6, I believe. I could be mistaken, but I believe so. So they have some seeding implications here. And then Arizona, I mean, everybody's had their Bahamas tickets bought for 2 months ago. You know what I mean? So it's vacation time for them. But I do think that a guy like Jacoby Brissett, who he's been a journeyman, he's in that range of, he's 32, 33. So his time is winding down. But he still wants to go out and give a good showing. He's played well. He supplanted Kyler Murray as the starter for that team. And they haven't won a lot of games, but he has shown himself that he is more than viable as a competent backup. So he's still playing for his next contract, man. Somebody's going to definitely appreciate Jacoby Brissett. I don't know if it's going to be with the Falcons, I don't know if it's going to be with the Cardinals again next year to run it back as some style of bridge, right? But wherever he goes, he's still playing for he's still playing for his next contract, man. He wants to continue putting out good tape, and so I don't think they'll lay down. The Cardinals haven't laid down yet, even though their season's more or less been over for 2 months. I think they'll try to do their best to compete. I don't expect them to give much resistance. I've got a 28-23 Rams. I think this one may be another one of those where Rams are probably up 28-16, 28-17, something like that in the fourth quarter, and then we get some style of late score from the Cardinals to kind of tighten it up. But I do expect the Rams to go out there and handle business and secure this one to, I believe they can lock themselves into the 5 seed, I want to say. And which, of course, is going to be very valuable. The 5 seed in the NFC is going to be very valuable for sure because the 5 seed gets to play either Carolina or Tampa Bay, right? Versus the 6 seed who has to play probably the Bears in Chicago. So if it's going to be Carolina or Tampa Bay or the Bears in Chicago, with just as dangerous as that team is for sure, right? Then yeah, the 5 seed definitely has a lot of value. So I think the Rams do still have something to play for here, and they'll go out there and make sure they secure that and get that done. Let me see who in the building. Hey, my dog, man, Keandre in the building, building, man. Cat Mothership, what's going on, big dog? Hey, I appreciate you, homeboy. Hey, y'all heard what he said. He said, tap in with the three amigos, man. Like, share, subscribe. Y'all know what's going on. Shout out to my dog in the building, man. Appreciate you. Let me see. Where's we at? Miami on the road at New England. Give me New England 28-20. We'll see what Quinn Ewers does in his is this going to be his third start? And so, maybe Quinn Ewers can show whether or not he's not going to be in line to start anywhere, but he can still put good film out there because he's a guy that more than likely is going to be a career backup. But a career backup could be a damn good gig, man. Ask Ryan Fitzpatrick about it. You know what I mean? Ryan Fitzpatrick played damn near as long as, I ain't gonna say maybe not Tom Brady. Ain't nobody played that long. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, more or less as a journeyman spot starter and backup, played 15 years or so in this league. Maybe 17 years. That's fantastic. Fantastic career for sure. He made a lot of money along the way. And so Quinn Ewers, he needs to show himself well to maybe give himself a shot at that style of career for sure. But I expect the Patriots, Drizzy Drake May, and the boys to hold this down at home, and then they win this game, they should lock themselves into the 2 seed for sure. And then with a Broncos loss, I believe they may have a backdoor shot at that 1 seed. So there's still some something on the line for the Patriots in this one as well. Let me see. Washington on the road at Philly. Give me Philly in this one, 28-19. Washington, I'm not going to waste too much time on this one, man, because you know why? Because we got the game of the week to talk about now, man. It's been a long time coming, and now we finally here. Sunday night, Baltimore at Pittsburgh. This week's game of the week, the AFC North title on the line. And give me the good guys, man. Y'all know where I'm going. Give me the good guys to handle business, to do what we came to do. 26-23, Pittsburgh spanking the Ravens in our building, securing that AFC North division title, locking ourselves into that 4 seed, and taking ourselves into the playoffs, where I think the 4-5 is likely going to be. I think it's going to come down to either the Texans. Is it the Texans or the Bills? I want to say it's going to come down between the Texans and the Bills in our building. I'll worry about that when I cross that bridge. It's time to get there. We got to handle business today, though. Give me the good guys at the crib, 26-23. Now, this game for sure, we already know the implications for both teams, win or go home, all that good stuff. Both these coaches have had their names on the hot seat, right, throughout the course of this year for sure. Lamar Jackson, he's returning to this game. My dog TJ, y'all know what's going on. Big TJ, he's coming back as well. And so, everybody's pulling out all the stops. There is no tomorrow, right? So there is no guarantee tomorrow. So there's nothing to save yourselves for. Lamar Jackson missed last week's impressive game and victory against Green Bay in Green Bay. Derrick Henry going absolutely nuclear in that game and securing victory last Saturday, I should say, excuse me. And so that was a big win with Lamar Jackson out. He is going to be starting in this one with the winner go home game in Pittsburgh. And then on our side as well, TJ Watt is making his return. He had the partially collapsed lung from a Kneeland incident or whatnot. And so he's also coming back. And so as far as I know, man, both these teams, everybody's a little banged up, but everybody's going to show up to play. And so I can't wait to see this, man. I can't wait to see this one. I'm going to be locked in. Thankfully, it's tonight. So I can take my time. I can watch, I can take my time. I can watch the rest of these games and, relax a little bit before I get into full-fledged heart attack mode tonight at about 7:20 when we kick this game off Sunday night for sure. But man, I'm excited about it. I can't lie to you, man. These matchups are always fantastic. Maybe it doesn't have the same panache that it had, 10 years ago in the heyday. You know what I mean? When it was Debo Harrison and Terrell Suggs and Ray Lewis and Troy Polamalu and it doesn't have those same names for sure, but the animosity between the two teams and organizations is still the same. And like I said, man, these games, especially if we remember the first one, right? These games are always, generally speaking, they're always generally pretty competitive and pretty exciting. We remember the last 3 weeks ago when the Steelers went to Baltimore and won that game. We remember the controversial calls at the end of the game. Isaiah Likely, did he secure the catch? Did he not secure the touchdown, etc.? And so Baltimore definitely has a bad taste in their mouth from that one. And now they're coming to our building to see if they can find revenge. And I can't wait to send they funky asses back home to Baltimore, sad, busted, and disgusted when my Steelers handle their business, man, and get this dub 26-23, winning the AFC North and securing that 4th seed into the playoffs for sure. My goodness. And then actually, let me double check and make sure here. But I think that's it. Yeah, that's a Sunday night game. We ain't got no Monday game. And we already talked about the 2 Saturday games for sure as well. But yeah, man, that's it. That's all. We came, we saw, we conquered. Now, y'all know what's going on. Before we get out of here, if you got something to say, drop it in the chat now or forever hold your peace. Let's see what we got going on. My dog Kyren said, he said, having issues finding old eps, big dog. Oh, prior, they're not showing up on the page? They should be on the page, on the YouTube page, right? If you're talking about going back and checking out some of the prior episodes. Bro, hold on, man. Don't tell me that now. Don't tell me that. YouTube ain't got my content up. Hold on now. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm glad you said something if they not showing up. Man, I'll have to check on that for sure. I definitely want it out there now. Hey, I definitely want it out there now, big dog. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that, bro. This is the first I heard of that. So I didn't know. So when you own the page and it just doesn't and it's not pulling up all the past episodes. Oh damn. Well, good looking out for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. This is the first I heard of that for sure. So I appreciate you, big dog. I'm gonna go check it out and see what's going on. Man. Golly, what's YouTube trying to do to me, man? But no, man, what else we got, man? Oh, here's a question for y'all. You know what I mean? It's the end of the year. I don't know if y'all put too much stock into the postseason awards or whatnot, but this is what I say. Is Drake May the MVP of the league? That's it. I think it was coming down to, we had whittled it down to Drake May and Matt Stafford, and I think Stafford's last performance, the last performance left a lot to be desired, man, versus Drake May, who went out there. It was against the Jets, but be that as it may, man, he put up 5 of them things. He put up 5 of those things, man, as well. And I think the Patriots definitely end up finishing better than the Rams. And so, yeah, I definitely think that Drizzy Drake May, man, I think he locked up that MVP trophy. And then I hate to toot my own horn a little bit, but for about, I don't know, 14, 15-ish weeks, your dog was trying to put y'all on game, man. Like, y'all know that boy Drizzy May is here to stay, man. Drizzy May here to stay. That boy been playing his ass off, and it looks like he's gonna win the MVP in his second NFL season, man. So kudos and shout out to Drizzy Drake May. My dog Pretty Tony the Apprentice said give him a Super Bowl prediction. Ooh, wee. NFC, I feel good about the Seahawks, dog. I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel great about anybody going to Seattle in that building and knocking them off, man. I don't know. I don't see who's gonna do it. I don't trust the Packers to go there and do it, especially without Micah. I mean, you would need some type of juice defensively to harass and get after Sam Darnold because we've seen that he is susceptible to turning the ball over, man. If you can get after him and make it a tough day, but without Micah, I don't feel confident there. And then plus the Packers themselves, they've been beat up at the quarterback position. Jordan Love and Malik Willis. I don't feel great about the Packers going in there in that building and getting a dub. They out. Let me see. Who? That's the 7 seed, 6 seed. Okay, Rams. Rams in that building as well. They're going to be the 5, 6 seed. The Rams probably have I feel best about the Rams maybe going into that building and getting a dub. But at the same time, I mean, I think I still give that edge to Seattle. The Eagles, this ain't the same Eagles. You know what I mean? So this ain't hey, shout out to my dog Day One Game Jarrell, man. He an Eagles fan, big Eagles fan. But man, he'll tell you they not the same team they were last year as the defending champs. Man, they've had a lot of issues with that team in their locker room and in the organization. They've overcame a lot of that and still won the NFC East. They're gonna be the 3 seed. I don't feel good about them going to Seattle and overcoming, especially with that defense playing the way they playing. Who else, dog? I mean, Niners, no. I'm taking Seattle. I'm taking Seattle at the crib all day, twice on Sunday. I just seen what Seattle did to the Niners in their building last night. So I'm not going to take them coming to Seattle now, that same defense and that same matchup. No, not the Niners, not the Packers, not the Eagles. Who we missing, dog? The Bears? Now the Bears have been streaky, and they've been a spark plug, and they found a way to win in the close, critical moments where Caleb Williams has made a fantastic throw that makes us forget about the 3 or 4 easy throws that he missed maybe before he throws one fantastic highlight style one. But nah, man, I can't trust that on the road in Seattle either. The Bears are out. Dog, who's left in the NFC? I mean, that's I think Seattle, bro. Unless they just piss the bed. Unless Sam the Man Darnold pisses the bed. Now he's likely to do it. Right? What, a month ago when they lost to the Rams, he threw 4 interceptions. They still lost that game by 3 points. And that was in LA. He threw 4 interceptions in LA. They lost that game by 3 points. Like, come on, dog. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'll take the Seahawks in the NFC. AFC is a little trickier, man. Realistically, Buffalo. I think the Buffalo, man. I think the Bills. Because the Bills can go anywhere. Because they got one of them ones, dog. When you got one of those ones, y'all done heard me say this about 4 years now, man. From my first podcast, my dog Chop, man, let the film speak. Y'all know what's going on, man. Yeah, you feel me? And from then on, man, y'all heard me. Y'all heard me. It's been a running joke, me singing the praises of Big Josh. You know what I'm saying? Josh Allen. But no, he's the truth, bro. Big Josh is one of those ones, dog. And so when you've got one of those ones, you can go into anybody's building at any time. No lead is safe. Ask Baltimore. 30 points in a quarter and a half against Baltimore, right? 6 touchdowns in the man. Come on, man. Y'all know what's going on with Big Josh. And so Big Josh can go to Denver. Big Josh can go to Denver and get a dub there. I ain't tripping. You know what I mean? Big Josh can go to New England, get a dub there. I ain't tripping. Which they did. They got their revenge game against the Patriots in their building. They were down 21-0. They got 21 in the first half. Big Josh came out and they outscored the Patriots 28-3 in the second half. You see what I'm saying? So Big Josh can go to Denver. Big Josh can go to New England. Big Josh don't give a damn about going to Jacksonville, the 3 seed. Jacksonville? Come on, man. And then I ain't gonna lie to you either. My Steelers? Come on, man. What we gonna do with Big Josh? And that's just being real, keeping it funky. We don't want no parts of Big Josh. Don't nobody in the AFC want no parts of playoff Big Josh. And especially in a year like this, right, where it's been so wide open and it's been kind of down. Buffalo, Seattle, dog. Buffalo, Seattle. Ooh, and I love that. That's a damn good matchup. Because Big Josh against, one of the best defenses in the league. And so Big Josh going to have to really put on a Superman type of performance to get that done. Ooh. Yeah. Buffalo and Seattle, dog. That's a damn good question. Shout out to my dog, Pretty Tony, the painter in the building, man. Shout out to my dog. Yeah, I'll go Buffalo, Seattle right now if I had to call it right here on the spot. Buffalo, Seattle. Buffalo, Seattle. Damn, yeah. Yeah. Buffalo's either gonna be the 5 or 6 seed. It's either, I think, because the 5 seed is gonna come down between the Texans and the Bills. Yeah, either the Texans and the Bills, I want to say, are in play for that 5 seed, if I'm not mistaken. Because I got the Chargers losing to the Broncos today. So I think that's going to lock them in at the 6th seed, if I'm not mistaken. Or could Buffalo be or could the Texans still get to the 7th seed? I'm not sure. But Buffalo, I think Buffalo, I feel the most confident in the playoffs for sure. I had to say Big Josh in Buffalo, man, coming out that AFC. Like I say, that Big Josh can go anywhere. I don't have a problem taking Big Josh on the road to anybody's building. I don't feel great about Drake May in Denver. I really don't. I love me some Drizzy May. But I don't feel good about him going to Denver. That Denver defense, I think, has the overwhelming advantage over that offense. Mac Hollins and Keyshawn Butte, an older, injured, or coming off of injury, Stephon Diggs. Pat Surtain ain't going to have no problems with none of them. You know what I mean? So Pat Surtain's going to be Pat Surtain. And then, of course, that pass rush, that front seven and the pressure they get, and playing in Denver, Mile High. I mean, like that's a tough matchup. They can win. The Patriots could win that game, but that one to me feels like a 51-49. I would give that edge to the hometown Broncos in that one. Josh Allen going to Denver and just he can do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? He can turn up and take that over and get that done. So Yeah, man. I gotta say I got the most faith in Buffalo. My dog Massey think the Broncos are better than what people think. No, it took me a while to get on board with the Broncos. And shout out to my dog Vegas James in the building, man. He a Broncos fan. And one of the things that we talked about, he told us all to believe. Matter of fact, shout out to my dog Vegas James. But the Broncos losing that game at home against the Packers, I think like that was that for me was like a prove it game. Like that was one of those games I looked at like, okay, show me you for real right now. You know what I mean? Show me you for real right now. And then they lose that one. And honestly, I ain't gonna lie, I felt the same way about the Patriots when the Patriots lost to Big Josh and them, especially being up 21 points in the first half. It was 21-0 in the second quarter. The Broncos or the Bills ended up getting a score to go into halftime. So I think it was 21-3 or 21-7, something like that. But it was 21-0 for the first quarter and a half of that game. They barely get on the board before halftime. You know what I'm saying? And so, but in my mind, it was the same thing like I said about the Broncos. Show me you for real. Because if you're going to be a contender, a real-life Super Bowl contender, this is the one you win. You know what I mean? In your building, up, big, and against a quality opponent. If you one of the ones, you got to win this one. And the Patriots found a way to lose that one. The Broncos got outplayed in their building by the Packers. And then also, I think the Broncos dropped... there's another game as well, man, that gives me a little pause. The Giants game, dog. Like the Giants with damn Jackson Dart and Cam Scatchabo, he got injured in that one, like in the first half where he twisted his ankle around. And CBS put it on camera. I'm still never going to forgive y'all for that, CBS. But you know what I'm saying? But like they lost Cam Scatchabo in that game, and Jackson Dart in the weak-ass Giants, man, they take Denver to overtime in that game, and they build it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's... You know, like they're definitely a tough play. Bo Nix has really not quite to the level of Caleb Williams, but Bo Nix has also been big. He's played his best moments, his best games in those critical matchups for sure. In the fourth quarter, in those gotta have it moments, in those gotta have it downs. He's been his best in the clutch for sure. Caleb Williams has been more or less kind of similar to that in the NFC, but that's still risky. That's still a risky proposition to ask for, man. Like that's still a little risky, but no, I don't think they're definitely viable. But man, you taking Bo Nix over Josh Allen, even in Denver? Like I don't feel great about it. I don't feel great about it, dog. Man, I think the Broncos go deep. Pause. My God, and win big in some close. Hey, man. Shout out to my dog Miles, man. The Broncos go deep and win some big games, and win big in some close games. They definitely can for sure. And so let's say, because who's going to be the 7th seed? Because can the Bills be the 7th seed? I think the Chargers may be. I think the Chargers may be locked into that 6th. I think the Chargers are either going to be 5, 6. And I think the Texans will be either 5 or 7. And I think the Bills, I think the Bills have a shot at the 5 as well. But I think they're like the Texans where they can either get the 5 or the 7. But I think the Chargers can get 5, 6. And so let's say, for instance, if the Bills end up being the 7 seed, then that means they would play the number 2 seed Patriots in wild card or in the divisional or in their first matchup. Damn, Drizzy, man. Man, yeah, I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to take Big Josh in that one. And so now as the 7th seed, they would go to Denver in the divisional. I'd be lying if I sit there and told you that I'm not taking Big Josh in that. You know what I mean? In that divisional game. So the Broncos' first game of their division, because they're going to be off wildcard weekend as the number 1 seed, assuming they win today. They'll be off wildcard weekend. So their divisional game is going to be likely, it may be the Bills. Man, I'm taking the Bills if that's and that's one and done. It's just a bad draw, perhaps, or just a tough draw if it's the Bills. Now, if it's the Texans, I like their matchup better against the Texans because that's 2 stout defenses, but Denver has the clear edge offensively, and it's going to be in Denver, right? So I would definitely give that edge to the Broncos there. I'd like them against the Texans. The Chargers, I like them against the Chargers. The Chargers are in their building today as well, and I expect them to get that dub. And I think the advantage their defense has over the Chargers offense is going to be too much. So I do like them against the Chargers in the divisional. It would be a rematch of today's game. I like them in the divisional, possibly against the Texans. I don't like them against the Bills. I don't like them against the Bills. Now, also, assuming let's say they win their divisional matchup, whether that's the Texans or the Chargers, right? So then that means in the AFC Championship, it would either be them in the Bills or them in the Jaguars. I like them over the Jaguars. Oh, no, Jaguar. I'm pretty sure Jacksonville went to Denver and got a dub there. Because I think the Broncos, they lost to the Packers, and then for some reason I want to say they lost to the Jaguars. Because I think that Broncos win was the win that made me take a second look at the Jaguars. Like, nah, you went to Denver and got that done, man. And I gotta put some respect on that too. So they lost to Jacksonville in their building. So even that game may be a toss-up as well. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Broncos, they can make a push for sure. And having home field is definitely worth something. Sean Payton is a Super Bowl winning coach. You know what I mean? So he knows what it takes to get there and what it takes to win and get it done. But I don't feel that the Broncos are an overly dominant team going into this playoffs. Or maybe that's even a two because nobody's necessarily overly dominant. But I don't feel as strongly about their advantage as the number one seed as I do about Seattle in the NFC for sure. My dog said he likes them beating the Pats or the Bills. I think I think it's a better matchup for them against the Pats because that Pats defense is relatively average and their defense is elite. And so I do think that Broncos defense has a better chance of making it a tougher day for Drake May than the Patriots defense has of making it a tough day for Bo Nix. But Drizzy May, man, we have seen that he can rise above, man. He can carry a team. You know what I mean? He's carried this team. This is a middling team. They had one of the softest schedules in the league. They had a last place schedule because there was a last place team. And then Drizzy May, man, he showed up and he showed out for sure. So he's definitely shown that he can put a team on his back and get it done. But going to Denver against that defense, I don't like that matchup for the Pats. So I would give the edge to the Broncos there. The Bills, I'm taking the Bills all day. I think Big Josh ain't worried about it. Big Josh had to duke it out with Patty in Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? He ain't worried about duking it out with Bo Nix in Denver. You know what I mean? He done had to trade blows with prime Patty Mahomes in Kansas City. And arguably should have went to a Super Bowl. He was 13 seconds away from a Super Bowl in Kansas City. And then Sean McDermott's punk-ass defense leaves Travis Kelce, prime Travis Kelce, butt naked for a 30-yard catching run that cost the Bills that game. And then Big Josh didn't get to touch the ball again. You know what I mean? They changed the rule because of that game. They changed the rule because Big Josh didn't even get to touch the ball after going to Kansas City and being on the verge of going to a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So, Big Josh ain't worried about going to Denver against Bo Nix and them. Hell no, man. He been slapboxing with Patty for 5 years now. You see what I'm saying? So, I like the Bills in Denver. I ain't gonna lie to you. I like the Bills in Denver. They don't have an it guy they play team ball. That's a fair point. That is. J.K. Dobbins was toting the ball pretty solid before he went on IR. R.J. Harvey's been pretty good in reserve. I liked R.J. Harvey a lot coming into the draft this past year from, was it UCF? He was a top 5 back for me. I want to say he was a top 3 back for me. I want to say, honestly, I ain't going to lie to nobody. I had R.J. Harvey over Amari Hampton. I wasn't as high on Amari Hampton as a lot of the consensus was. I had R.J. Harvey over Amari Hampton. So I'm a big R.J. Harvey fan. Cortland Sutton is a very solid guy, but he's not necessarily, just like you said, he's still not an it guy. You know what I mean? You know, the Broncos are very similar in my mind to what we've seen from the Bears, where they've got some weapons, they've got a fantastic coach and offensive scheme. That's number one. They're like a better version of the Bears. They've got a very dynamic quarterback. Not as that, like Bo Nix isn't as talented or dynamic as Caleb, but he's in that same mold. You know what I'm saying? Like a guy who's athletic. He can use his legs. He can boot out and put a 40-yard laser down the field on the run. You know what I mean? He he could tough it out. He could show up and get you 60 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns rushing in the right circumstances as well. So I think the way the Broncos and the Bears are constructed is pretty similar for me, right? And they've also both won a lot of 50-50 games all year where the cookie crumbles their way. You know what I mean? Shout out to my dog Miles. Where sometimes the cookie just crumbles their way. You know what I'm saying? The ball bounces their way in extra time. You know what I'm saying? Those 50-50 plays and 50-50 calls that happen throughout the course of a year for the Broncos and the Bears in a lot of those moments, they've been 70-30, 80-20. They found a way to kind of steal those moments that are up for grabs. Now, they've done a better job of it as the Broncos have, and I think namely because they have a far superior defense than the Bears do. If the Bears had the Broncos defense, they very well would be in the same seat as the Broncos, right? I think they could have been arguably, I don't know if I want to say, I don't want to get too far off base. But my point is that Broncos team, I have a lot of feelings about them, much like I do the Bears. Talented, explosive, talented and dangerous, especially if it's a close game, and especially in their building as well. But a close game where the game's in the balance, that's when they've played their best ball offensively. You know what I mean? Is in those moments, and they've been successful. But they also have a dominant defense, and the Bears don't have that. So I'm with you there. Let me see what else you got for me. Said the Packers were rolling. No, they were. Yeah, when they went to that building. Well, no, and yeah, because. Well, no, let's keep in mind. So the Packers had a big win against. I want to say no, they lost that game to the Bears in overtime. That's what Caleb Williams had, arguably the throw of the year in an overtime win against the Packers. And then that was, I think, the last game that Jordan Love played fully, because I think the next game is when Jordan Love went out with concussion, and then Malik Willis came in and he played well in relief. They did lose to the Ravens, but now they were. But now since then, Malik Willis and Jordan Love have missed a couple games. Michael Parsons, his season is over, and so that Packers team isn't even the same team that they were now. But yeah, at the time in which they went to Green Bay, where it was a heavyweight matchup, Green Bay got rolled in their building. And honestly, the score wasn't outlandish, but the Packers controlled the game. You know what I mean? In your building. You know what I mean? And so that doesn't make me feel, you know what I mean? Like the Broncos are playing well. They've got a fantastic defense. They have been, Bo Nix has looked his best in the big weighty moments of games, but that's a dangerous way to live though. You know what I mean? That's just a dangerous way to live. And that's why the Broncos still worry me a little bit. But now, good comments, man. Shout out to my dog. Shout out to my dog, Pretty Tony the Painter, man. Shout out to my dog, man. Prospect Precision Painting, man, across all platforms. Y'all know what's going on, man. Yeah, let's go. But no, matter of fact, okay, yeah, we about 10 minutes out. We about 10 minutes out, man. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Unless you got something else. You got something else, speak now or forever hold your peace. But as we wait on that, y'all know what time it is. It's time for that Real Member Roll Call, man. First one in the building today was Sis, man. What's going on, everybody? My dog D-Dot was in the building, man. Come on, man. Big Nation business in the building. He know what's going on. Let's get it. Let's sir. Let me see. My dog Derpy was in the building as well. He know what's going on. Hey, Nation in the business. Hey, we gonna handle our business, man. Don't worry about it. Ain't nothing to it but to do. We're going to handle our business today for sure. Shout out to my dog Miles, man, in the building. Hold me down, man. I appreciate your homeboy. Shout out to my dog Vegas James, man. Hold it down for those Broncos. Vegas James told us to believe, man. Vegas James told us we need to believe. And so we'll see what this Broncos do today. And then also as we get into these playoffs as well, my dog Keandre, man, Cat Mothership was in the building, man. I appreciate your homeboy reminding everybody to tap in with those three amigos. Like, share, subscribe. Y'all know what's going on. And the rest of y'all, I'm looking for you. Damn. Y'all know what time it is. Say the same thing every week. Feel free to say it with me at home. If I forgot to say your name, hey, damn, my bad. But charge it to my head and don't charge it to my heart. You know I'm thinking about you, big dog. appreciate all the love support as always, man. Man, week 18, man. We made it. The end of the year. It was a grind. It's crazy. It's surreal because it was a grind for you, dog, man. 18 weeks getting on here, talking trash with the gang, man, twice a week. It's a lot, big dog. You know what I mean? But I love doing it, man. I love to try to engage and tap in with your dog, man. I have a lot of fun doing it. Man, anybody who knows me personally knows I'm talking ball. If I'm not talking ball, I'm down to talk ball at just about any time, day or night. You can hit my line and we can debate and talk about football any way you want to. That's just one of my passions, man. So getting on here, talking about, man, kicking it with y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all the fam, man. Getting on here, talking that talk and having a good time doing it, man. I appreciate y'all for sure. Man, tap back in, man. Wednesday, we'll have a Wednesday follow-up show. We'll recap the regular season, how everything played out. We'll do like a playoff preview style of show. We'll probably do an awards. I'll probably talk about like the regular season awards. We'll go through the MVPs, Coach of the Year, Offensive Defensive Player of the Years, all that good stuff, man. And then, of course, like I said, man, we'll maybe game out some of these pending playoff matchups as well. But other than that, man, y'all have fun, be safe, enjoy y'all New Year. Happy 2026 to the rest of y'all. And until Wednesday, peace.